we see Scrapper has the feeder ready, which is this large grinding maw, and it sucks all of the sea life into it. And we see Shockwave reveling in this as he says, "Yes, yes, yes."
Cybertron shall be powered by chum. Welcome once again, esteemed students. I am Kid Catastrophe, headmaster of the School of Athenia. Class is in session as we begin the 18th Chugcratic seminar. I am joined by two of my very esteemed co-hosts. First, the Dean of Critique, Runestone.
Prime time, everybody.
And the Dean of Fabrication, definitely Not Char.
All right, I'm gonna want those papers on my desk tomorrow about what clear plastic actually is. All right, to all the students who took the materials class. All right, you've got tomorrow as your deadline.
Yes, I'm guessing everyone in your materials lab is scrambling to get their assignments done right now.
Yes,
That's
yes.
why we only have 5 viewers. So how are y'all doing? We're recording on a Saturday instead of the normal Sunday.
Yes, yes. Well, Sunday is a day of import, so I'm sure people will have things to be doing tomorrow.
Yes. Oh shoot! Tomorrow's Easter, isn't it?
Yes.
It's completely slipped my mind. Well, happy Easter, everyone. We've got. Okay, I was gonna try to make an egg joke, but I got nothing.
So this is the day where we remember how Optimus Prime came back, right?
Oh yeah. He died and rose again after 3 acts.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting down to brass tacks, our topic today will be discussing the merits and demerits of various Optimus Primes over the course of Transformers history. Something very different from our normal stuff. But first, as always, we can start with recent purchases. What have y'all got today? What did the Easter Bunny bring you?
The Easter Bunny hath not brought forth much, as I remain unemployed and thus low on funds.
Unfortunate.
Yes, yes.
What about you, Runestone? Do you have anything new you'd like to share with the class?
There are a few things we can talk about. Firstly, I have Studio Series Gamer Edition Ratchet and Ironhide. Same mold, but with different decos, as well as different head and chest sculpts, and one of the weapons as well. Although they both share the multi-part axe accessory. Whichever version you get, it looks cool in both modes. I prefer Ironhide because of his colors. I know when you spoke of this mold as Ratchet Kit, you said that this was your favorite of the Studio Series War for Cybertron toys.
Yes, easily.
Well, for me, it's second best at most, as there are a few things that keep it from being as good as Optimus Prime for me. For one, I've had smoother transformations back into vehicle mode, and on Ratchet, the panels that are sculpted onto the fists, they aren't flush with the rest of the sports car. Hasbro Pulse's description, not mine. However, the bigger issue for me is that those shoulder pads are on a ball-jointed stem separate from the actual shoulders, meaning the arms can only pose as far as those shoulder pads can adjust. But, I mean, at least they are adjustable, unlike some of Legacy's leader class offerings.
Ooh. Chug shoulders, he has not.
Next up is Studio Series Transformers 1 Sentinel Prime. The jet mode isn't as elegant as the Prime changes, And the robot's shoulder joints are oddly positioned with them further down his torso than you'd want. But that aside, I'd say the robot looks better and is more movie accurate than the Prime Changer. And I like the battle mode that they worked into this toy. What's kind of cool is that they worked in a battle mask that stores inside his chest, and yet the head can still rotate and even look up on a hinge. If you ever get this toy, you'll see how it's constructed when you actually open the chest. They managed to sculpt Sentinel's quote unquote angelic wings, whatever, underneath his jet wings. You get a couple blasters and shield, although I don't like the bright pink paint they used for the latter. No double-bladed weapon, though maybe a future multi-pack re-release or something will rectify that. Otherwise, I'd say it's a pretty solid figure all around. And lastly, the Legacy animated Bumblebee mold was another of those that I held off on until a better-looking redeco came out. Enter Age of the Primes Fugitive Waspinator. I love the two-tone green and purple color scheme. The dark purple plastic actually obscures the hinges you can see within the windscreen, so it's not quite as ugly looking. And unlike the original cancelled figure of Fugitive Wasp from the actual animated toy line, this one sports the correct head. It's super crisply sculpted and well done and everything. You still get the stingers and rocket booster accessories, so that's neat. Unfortunately, the mold itself is not my favorite. Design-wise, it looks fine, but getting into vehicle mode isn't the most pleasant of experiences due to how compact it gets. And on that note, I don't know about you, but this figure is the first toy in the whole... Well, sorry. This is the first time that the whole small deluxe practice that they've been doing for the mini bots and similar sized characters has genuinely bothered me, because this figure is tiny for its size class. And I don't think he's particularly heavily engineered or painted to warrant that price.
That, yeah, I was going to ask what you thought of the size, because it does seem pretty egregious.
Yeah, I have Bumblebee right here next to my desk, and yeah, I'm pretty sure I got my Bumblebee on sale. I cannot remember for the life of me, but he is super tiny. They really need to make like a $15 price point or something for him for toys like this, because 25 bucks is not it. I've seen Wasp in person, and he looks really cool, and I'm interested in getting him, but definitely going to have to wait for another sale on that one.
Yes.
That does...
I just wanted to say, speaking of paying deluxe prices for a core toy, that did jog my memory. I did get one figure this month, and I in fact paid a core price for a deluxe toy. I got myself Buzzworthy Towline.
I wouldn't call that a core.
No, he's a deluxe figure. I'm saying I got him for a core price tag.
Oh, sorry.
I went to Forbidden Planet. My travels brought me near there, and I decided to take a peek in, and they had an entire shelf of nothing but Buzzworthy Towline.
Yeah, they couldn't really get rid of them over here either.
Yeah. And so they were all on sale for a tenner a piece, and I decided, you know what? I am Mr. RID01 himself, so I'll pick one up just to see what it's like. And yeah, it's warranted. It's warranted why it's a shelf warmer, unfortunately.
That mold is a very unremarkable toy to me.
Yeah. And the Scooby-Doo color scheme doesn't really do it any favors, unfortunately. Yes, though it has reignited my search for an original RID Towline.
I still think there was a big missed opportunity, assuming they are planning on doing this in the future, of making a Robot Masters Wrecker Hook redeco out of that mold.
Yeah, I thought so too at the time, but as time goes on, I just rather prefer to get a vintage one. I have Machine Wars Hoist, I believe, the black one, I think. And the mold is really fun to mess with. So um, I just don't think like it would be cool if they made like a brand new bespoke mold for it, but I just don't see that in the realm of plausibility anytime soon. So short of that, I'd just rather get the vintage. It's a very nice toy.
Yeah, it's basically the car version of a Beast Wars Basics, isn't it?
Yeah, one of them flip changers from 1996.
Yes, it does look really cool, and I would like to get myself one eventually. But unfortunately, Neokio has not provided me one yet.
Moving on, Runestone's story about Fugitive Waspinator segues into the fact that my target has also received the first wave of Age of the Primes, and I got a couple toys on a sale like 2 weeks ago, just about. I got Solus Prime, who is okay. I don't really feel like talking about her. And I got Red Alert, which is currently my new favorite toy. He will probably be on my desk for a good month, or until the next time I get another Transformer. Super nice toy. Super nice toy. In retrospect, I probably should have gotten Fugitive Waspinator when I had the chance to get him so cheap. Because Red Alert, I think, is despite his deluxe size, I feel like if they made like a Power Links repaint, I feel like that would be worth full price. You know, I would be comfortable paying that. Yeah, super nice toy. But I think I got some other things that are a bit more noteworthy. First off, I got from Ami two things this month. First is the Legacy Dino King multi-pack. Very nice set. I said it's a very fun set. But I will say these individual toys feel a bit cheap. Parts are just very hollow. They feel very light, and yeah, just they are lots of fun. They look great as a team, and the Dino King combined mode is phenomenal. But individually, they are a bit lackluster. But overall, it's a pretty good set. It's a pretty good set. More interestingly, I also got the in the same order. I got the 40th Selection Edition repaint of Masterpiece movie Bumblebee. This is a brilliant toy. Over the past,
that would be the Camaro Bumblebee, right?
Yes, 2007 concept Camaro.
Did they ever make a masterpiece of the original? Not the original. They never made.
No, I would love if they did. But they haven't.
I would as well. Oh well, maybe one day.
Someday. But yeah, this is a. I was about to say it's a very phenomenal toy, but I would like to stress that it is also a somewhat idiosyncratic toy. There are a couple things about it that just give me pause. Like just dealing with like the way he transforms and the way he's constructed. The feet are a bit awkward. I'm not sure I have the correct order of operations there. The torso and lower body are just connected by like one like die cast double hinge assembly. It's not a nightmare to transform like some other toys I could mention, but it just has a couple slightly strange design choices. dude is absolutely covered in paint, and I feel a bit nervous handling him because I know like he's gonna chip like crazy if I do too much. I think like nearly every single surface is covered in some kind of paint. Really amazing toy. He looks amazing in both modes. He looks damn near perfect in both modes. I do not regret picking him up.
Good to hear. I am glad you guys have enjoyed your purchases this month. I'm happy to hear. Hopefully I'll have more good news to report when I get my own Red Alert and when I have money for more card bots.
Hear, hear. So, now that we've gotten that out of the way, shall we move on to the main event of this seminar?
Yes.
All right. So today, our topic is the best and worst of Optimus Prime. We're taking a deep dive into one character, or one archetype, I guess, if you want to split hairs, and we'll discuss like over his depictions in media, his character designs, and later on we'll have another section dedicated to toys in particular, and we'll discuss what we like about our favorites and what we detest about our least. So without further ado, who is up first? Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you've seen the last Chugcratic seminar, number 17, the Skybound catch-up, you'll know that this version of Optimus Prime is probably my favorite one in a very long time, and I dare say he's my favorite Optimus Prime in all of Transformers history. This is probably the most genuine take on this character, coupled with probably the most depth we've seen given
Certainly
to
in a
him.
long time.
Certainly in a long time. Like, I did want to caveat, like, like there have been other extremely genuine Optimus Primes, and I know someone's going to talk about those later. But this Optimus Prime is just like a breath of fresh air, because the way I've liked to describe him is he's not exactly G1 Optimus Prime, but he's who we remember G1 Optimus Prime being, if that makes sense. He's like the platonic ideal of Optimus Prime in our collective mind's eye. And they're doing a lot of really good things with this character. Clearly, one of the themes of the comic run is family, and we're getting to see through Optimus's own eyes how he's learning what exactly that means. I don't want to get into spoilers too much. Just if you want, if you don't mind spoilers, go watch the last seminar. But he's just perfect. He's everything I wanted an Optimus Prime to be, and I didn't even know I wanted it.
He is certainly a great depiction. I wouldn't go as far to say perfect, mainly because his story isn't over yet. That would be my main caveat. We haven't had enough time with him to say if he's perfect. We haven't been able to see him from all angles. I think partially that's because of the nature of comic books, the way comic books are made, the amount of time that is covered in a single issue versus the release schedule of an issue. We don't really get to have much, I suppose, downtime with Optimus Prime. So we haven't really been able to see much of the side of him that isn't the side that isn't him when he's under stress, if you know what I mean. This is like the rest of Optimus Prime this is like the Optimus Prime that we imagine from the 86 movie, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, yes, I totally agree with you. He is a great depiction.
Of course, one of the standout things about this Optimus Prime is, of course, for a while now, he has had his right arm replaced with that of his nemesis. And we can see the effect. One of the storylines in this comic is we can see the effect that it's taken on his mind, which I'm sure will bring will bring many images of movieverse Optimus Prime to a lot of fans, for better or worse. But I mean, at least the comic makes it. I mean, sorry, let's just say at least the comic sort of makes it clear that he's not necessarily in his right mind when it happens. Like he's being controlled somehow.
I think influence would be the better word rather than controlled. But
well,
he hasn't taken any faces yet, so
I don't know. He kind of wrecked Frenzy that one time.
Well, that's true. That's true. But was that was more so like a moment of overkill with the fusion cannon than it was as much of a brutal attack as we see with
if I recall correctly, he like grabbed him by the leg and slammed him into like
oh really? Am I
a railing and cracked all his teeth.
Oh, maybe I'm misremembering because I do remember Optimus Prime shooting someone with Megatron's fusion cannon and just
that was a reflector, I think.
Oh, okay. There we go then. Yeah.
And also don't forget he crushes Shockwave's head.
Oh,
oof!
So visceral, like a reverse Grindor.
Something I noticed, and this has probably been pointed out by at least one other person, or at least a few other people, is that this direction that they've been going in was arguably foreshadowed as early as the cover of the first issue. Because if you look at the artwork of, or at least one of the covers of issue 1, the one of Optimus Prime kneeling down, look on his right shoulder, and you'll notice that the Autobot symbol on that shoulder is drawn noticeably angrier than the one on the left.
It was planned all along. Well, I mean, yeah, it was planned all along. I'm pretty sure they pen like rough outlines, like I'm pretty sure they pen them like rough outlines like 6 at a time or something. So maybe they did plan it. Foreshadowing.
Ooh.
Man, I wish I had a faction symbol on my shoulder that got angry when I was angry.
Would it be a Transformers faction symbol, or would it be your logo?
It would be my logo. Like imagine my logo, but pissed.
Your logo is a Bayverse head design. It always looks pissed.
That's true. Imagine it full of mirth.
Now that is uncanny.
All right. Shall we move on to the next favorite?
Yes.
I'm happy to. Yeah.
All right. I believe Runestone, it's you.
Ooh.
Great choice.
Okay, so although ID has not managed to make this session as well, I did ask him, what was his favorite Optimus Prime in media and toy-wise, and for media, he picked animated Optimus Prime as one of his favorites. So I guess this one's for both of us. So I've stated before how Transformers Animated is a highly acclaimed series. Everything that comes out about it, even years after its end, just seems to make fans love it even more, including how it came to be. Because the initial title of this series was Transformers Heroes, but it, along with other elements like the core cast, went through some changes. Exactly why it was called Heroes hasn't been outright stated, I don't think. And if it has, I haven't seen it. But when watching animated, it's easier to guess why, as one of the core themes of that show is basically what it means to be a hero, regardless of your current disposition or circumstances. The series stars a space bridge repair crew who are basically your underdog protagonists, made up of outcasts and bots who have experienced some pretty heavy trauma. The leader is none other than Optimus Prime himself, and that itself is one of the interesting things about this incarnation. He's not a seasoned war veteran, but he's a rookie soldier, and furthermore, a Cybertron Elite Guard washout. You see, about a millennia ago, Optimus accompanied Sentinel and Elita 1 on an unauthorized mission to an organic planet inhabited by giant spiders in search of a lost Decepticon ship. Said mission ended in tragedy when the spiders attacked, and Elita, from the other two's perspective, falls to her unknown doom. Sentinel wanted to go back for her, but Optimus, not wanting any more lives to potentially be lost, gets the both of them to safety. Sentinel never forgave Optimus for leaving Elita, and the two ultimately fell out and became rivals. At a tribunal with Ultra Magnus, Optimus ends up taking the fall for the incident, even though it was basically Sentinel's idea to go to that planet to begin with. As a result, Optimus is expelled from the Academy, meaning he can never truly join the Elite Guard. Though Magnus does manage to grant Optimus the rank of Prime and gives him his own ship and crew to command. However, it's a rusty ship, and the crew is a group of misfits consisting of boot camp rejects Bumblebee and Bulkhead, along with the cranky medic Ratchet. They're eventually joined by Prowl, who has struggled to complete his Cyber Ninja training after everything he's gone through. And at some point, by pure chance, they happen across the Allspark. When reporting this to the Elite Guard, we get that infamous line from Magnus: "Don't try to be a hero, Optimus. It's not in your programming." However, when being pursued by the Decepticons, Optimus orders his crew to fly them out of there instead of waiting for reinforcements. And when Bumblebee reiterates Magnus's order, Optimus responds, "With all due respect, Ultra Magnus isn't the one carrying the Allspark." And that is indicative of what this Optimus is all about. Like Transformers 1 Orion Pax, he's willing to break protocol in the name of doing what's right, no matter his status or no matter how others look down on him. Albeit this Optimus is more mature and not nearly as reckless as TF1's Pax was. But despite this, animated Optimus has his own insecurities to deal with, namely his low self-esteem as a result of the aforementioned Elita incident. Even when he's cheered or praised for heroic acts, like when they end up on Earth, he still doesn't see himself as a hero. Naturally, his arc is all about him overcoming these doubts, which we see as he deals with his crew's own quirks and shortcomings, or whenever he fights foes both Cybertronian and human, and in particular, whenever he ends up facing his past. Because Elita 1 returns as Black Arachnia, who joined the Decepticons. Optimus also frequently butts heads with Sentinel whenever the Elite Guard shows up on Earth. Sentinel continuously mocks both Optimus and his team and is generally just an ass. Of course, Optimus is ultimately willing to aid them when the situation calls for it, because that's the kind of bot he is. And as the series progresses, Team Optimus become increasingly skilled and gradually evolve into the kind of heroes we'd expect from our main cast. And on top of all this, it honestly feels like animated Optimus Prime was the last for a long, long time to have any real personality to him. Again, until TF1's Orion Pax.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, he's noble, kind-hearted, and caring. That's a given. But he goes through a whole array of emotions. We see him being smug, sarcastic, shocked, exhausted, upset, frustrated, amused, That screen cap at the bottom, I won't spoil the context, but can you imagine most of the modern Optimus Primes laughing out loud like that? Not likely.
Not just laughing, but like laughing at Schadenfreude of all
Yeah.
things.
We even
Yeah.
see this Optimus get angry, because in the Megatron Rising two-parter, he lashes out at his own team, partially due to the stress of the impending threat of the Decepticons, but also because he found out Prowl and Bulkhead went behind his back and took the Dinobots to an island instead of letting Professor Sumdac melt them down. Because they were dangerous, but Optimus didn't consider how sentient they were. Prowl did, which also shows how even Optimus's line of thinking isn't perfect. Point being, he wasn't happy, but he does apologize for how he acted and strives to do better. And by the way, all of this is wonderfully owed to the absolutely stellar performance of David Kay, who's typically best known for performing other incarnations of his nemesis. One last thing to note is that while Optimus and Megatron do occasionally clash throughout the series, Megatron does not view Optimus as a worthy opponent or rival in the slightest. He does not view him as an equal at all. He doesn't even know or bother to remember Optimus's name. That is until the finale, and that in itself signifies this Optimus's overall growth. This is an Optimus that is all about character development. And he, like I say, he improves in both battle prowess and just as a leader in general. Not that he didn't have it in him to begin with, but let's just say that in the trial of Megatron's script reading they did at TF Nation, Magnus was more than willing to admit he was wrong about Optimus not being a hero.
I feel like this is the part where we need to slow clap.
Yeah. I mean, it's Optimus Animated Prime is an excellent choice, and he was, in fact, one of my first choices when we were suggested this list. Because he is just such an excellent. I suppose reimagining is probably the best way to put it, because as I will get to in my pick, this Optimus Prime sort of has the same core that you would have at the. This Optimus Prime has the same core, but he's in a significantly different circumstance to pretty much every other Optimus Prime that we have seen in the franchise. Every other Optimus Prime, the arc is usually about the burden of status and of being, responsible for the basically nations and armies. Whereas this Optimus Prime is about being able to, it's about being able to prove himself in the first place. And it's sort of, you can almost imagine this is the Optimus Prime. This is the Optimus Prime that would be before we normally see him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So as good of a movie as TF1 was, and I will disclaim it. It is a lot easier to flesh out a character over like a long-running television series than it is in a movie. But animated Optimus is who TF1 Optimus wishes he could be. His arc is just a lot better. And though I guess the point of TF1 is that the Megatron goes through more of an arc than Optimus does. But yeah, when I think of like what I want a young Optimus Prime to be like, to act like, it's this.
Yeah, Animated Optimus Prime really is the. Yeah, I'm gonna say, Animated Optimus Prime is the perfect Orion Pax character. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yes. And Animated was such a good show. I gotta rewatch it.
Same, it really was. Just an excellent series. I kicked myself as a kid for having like an autistic dislike of it because Optimus wasn't the leader of the Autobots, and I was like, no, that's cringe. But like I've obviously, as time has gone by, I've come to appreciate it a lot more. What can I say?
I just didn't watch it because it was never on at the right time of day.
That too. Only my grandparents had a TV that could actually get Cartoon Network as a kid. So
yeah, it would just play like first thing in the morning. And I'm not a morning person. Still, am not.
Yeah. Same.
Anyway, shall we move on to your pick for your favorite Char?
Yes, if everyone else is ready. Right.
Who could have seen this one coming?
So I feel when I saw this list, I feel like this Optimus Prime has to be on the list. Not only is he the template from which pretty much every other depiction of Optimus Prime is built. I think he's actually a very sorely misunderstood character, at least in the modern zeitgeist. And I think a lot of that stems from the fact that the piece of media that people reference for Optimus Prime the most is the G1 movie, the 1986 film. And I don't think that's actually a very good representation of Optimus Prime as a character, because it only really depicts the preceding 30 minutes before his death.
Yeah, it is the probably G1 Optimus at his most stoic, because it's the situation where the stakes were highest that he's been through.
Yeah, and that's exactly the problem. In the context of Transformers, the 1986 film, being a continuation of the 1984 TV show, it's an excellent film. But if you only look at Optimus Prime in that context, you're going to think that the core of his character is purely stoicism. And as we have seen, and as we will get to later, of course, this has become sort of this has resulted in a sort of Flanderization effect, where Optimus Prime has become a sort of brick wall of a character who's always stoic and always halfway through making epic speeches about how they will rise above the odds. And of course, that's part of Optimus Prime, but it's actually not as big as one would imagine. In the original Transformers TV show, Optimus Prime was actually way more chilled out throughout a lot of the series. I mean, he would, of course, provide advice to the Autobots, but it wouldn't come in the form of these big long speeches that we get, in the modern day. Often it would come in sort of like dadly advice. Something that sticks out to me is the scene in what was it? Five Faces of Doom. The episode where Ironhide tries to get on the Decepticon ship as it's leaving Earth.
That's more than meets the eye.
Is it more than meets the eye? Well, that just goes to show.
And also, it was Mirage who ended up boarding that ship.
Oh, was it?
Well, yeah. No, it would. You're thinking of the scene where I think it was Ironhide and Blue Streak were trying to chase the Seekers or something.
Well, it doesn't matter the specific context.
But I know the exact line you're talking about, though. When he tells Ironhide, there's a fine line between being a hero and being a memory.
Exactly.
And it's not just the line that's special; it's just the delivery of it.
Exactly. Optimus, he's not obviously he's being serious to a degree, but there's also some levity in his voice. And once again, when have we seen how long has it been since we've seen an Optimus Prime with like levity? Is like addressing the Autobots.
Animated.
Yeah. Well, there are some more recent examples, but I'm going to be honest. It's a bit of it's like the flirting versus harassment meme. It it comes up more. Some of the more recent quips, they don't hit as well. But
this is pure conjecture because I know you're talking about Earthspark, but I've never seen Earthspark. Do you? So I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But do you think they're like a bit Marvel-y with the?
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's one scene I remember watching. One scene, basically just as research, for today's podcast. There's a scene where Optimus Prime is apprehending Swindle and Crankshaft, I think it is, whatever. And Optimus Prime literally says, "This is the part where you surrender now." Like, oh god. But no, you'd never get like
Shrektimus Prime.
Yeah, you'd never get like Bayverse Optimus Prime saying something along the lines of "amazing, a booby trap that actually catches boobies."
It would be kind of like hilarious if like he did say something that silly while still keeping the rest of the movie like tonally consistent.
Yeah, he says that when who are those guys who apprehend Transformers in the fourth movie? They come and he dodges a trap and he says that line.
Or like imagine he's like making quips in the Revenge of the Fallen forest fight.
I mean, that's another thing though. Optimus Prime is entirely stoic during those fights in the Bayverse films and in other Transformers media. But like in the G1 show, Optimus Prime was taunting the Decepticons all the time.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that the forest fight in particular is probably a bad example because it is. It's like the most 86th, like in terms of stakes.
But like
of the movie,
in the DTOM film, for example, in the end of DTOM, where Optimus Prime is like going through all the Decepticons, or even really during like the end of 07, G1 Optimus Prime was taunting Megatron all the way during the Sherman Dam fight, calling him junk, not ready for the scrap heap. You know, while in 07,
that's really mean.
It's sort of like it is really mean, isn't it?
Damn, Megatron wouldn't say anything that mean.
Not only that, but when the Decepticons actually managed to construct their new ship, the Victory, and take off from Earth, we actually see Prime lose his patience a little bit.
Oh yeah, like he snaps a Sideswipe, be like, give me your fucking jetpack.
Give me your fucking jetpack, Sideswipe, you fucking wheelhead.
What does that mean?
Like, I don't know. I tried to think of like a random slur for a car former.
And when he crashes into the ground, it's like, I'm fine. Let Ratchet check you out. I said I'm fine.
Yeah. Ooh, like even an Optimus that like gets pissed under stress is more is preferable to one that just doesn't react at all.
Yeah. And of course, another aspect is that Optimus Prime is sort of put on a pedestal among the Autobots. Like, he doesn't really interact with them much. And I included this image in the middle because, of course, like when would you see a modern Optimus Prime playing basketball with the Autobots or doing anything like that?
Yeah.
You know?
No, instead he learns how to use emojis.
Oh, is that a real thing? Please tell me that's not a real thing.
Spark.
Oh no.
Okay, maybe Stoic Prime is better. Am I going to eat my words here?
On a silicone wafer.
Yeah.
Imagine if Optimus told Megatron to check his dubs.
But yeah, I think Optimus Prime, G1 Optimus Prime is way more three-dimensional than people give him credit for. And I think there is a very good reason why, out of all of the major 1980s Saturday morning heroes, he is arguably the most enduring.
He is father.
He is. There is a reason. And actually, I'm gonna make my thesis statement. Here, the thing that I always come back to when I think about G1 Optimus Prime is the story that Peter Cullen tells about his audition for Optimus Prime, and the thing that he thought about was his brother telling him to be strong enough to be gentle. And I think that's like one of the biggest aspects of Optimus Prime that kind of gets lost.
Yeah, I saw that clip in Chris McFeely's episode on Optimus Prime. So yeah, I know what you're referring to.
Yeah. Man, Optimus Prime is just so cool.
Yeah. I mean, man, it's almost like we're Transformers fans.
Oh, I could never.
I'd never tell, honestly. So weird.
I'd never admit to being one of those freaks.
Yeah.
So, how about we get rid of this sappy positivity and start bitching a little? You
Yeah.
know? Let's
get
get negative.
Let's
get pissed. Let's get mad. I want your damn lemons.
Make Hasbro take back the lemons.
Let's talk about the shittiest Optimus Primes to ever disgrace the screen. And oh, we got some rage in the chat. We got some rage in the chat. Thank you. 2 minutes rage. So we keep talking about how Optimuses these days are way too stoic and just not very genuine. And I think there is a poster child for this, and it's Optimus Prime. This is the most boring motherfucker to ever have the name Optimus Prime. You know, the Optimus Prime from the Action Blast 2 Flash cartoon from Universe 2008 has more character depth than this guy. He is so bad. People love Transformers Prime, right? It has its moments. I used to be one of those people, but this guy is probably my least favorite part of that show. I don't like him. He's not my He has a cool ass design. I'll give him that. Cool ass design, but terrible, uninspiring character. And the most interesting thing they do with him is, like, I think it was like the season opener in season 2, where they like wipe his memories and he reverts back to Orion Pax, and Megatron gaslights him into thinking, you know, the Decepticons are good and shit. And why couldn't that have been like a season-long arc or something? That would have been so interesting. But no, they just reverse it after 2 episodes, and he goes back to being boring and just completely uninspiring. I don't like him.
I have a question for you, Kit.
I'll try to answer.
Contextualize as being like a supposed continuation of the other aligned Optimus Primes, aka the one from Fall of Cybertron and the one from War for Cybertron.
I'm going to stop you right there. I have not beaten either of those games.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's on my list. I just haven't gotten around to it.
We should do co-op mode sometime. We should make that.
Do you have it on PC?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. Let's do it.
Well, I have it pirated on PC, but like, you can pirate. We can figure it out.
Okay.
We should make that a stream. But anyway, that's out. That's sidetracking.
I have another friend who has it, so we could do 3-player.
Hell yeah. But no. Did you have anything else to say, Kit? Or can I?
Not really. I don't like it. So, like, I juxtaposed him on this slide with a literal stick in literal mud. That's Prime Optimus Prime. Yeah, Jack. Want to see something funny? No, fuck you, Jack.
Yeah, when we were discussing the idea for this episode of the podcast, you did bring up Prime Optimus Prime, and specifically that moment where he says, "Want to see something funny?" No. And the one thing I will say is that it's not like his stoicism is necessarily treated as a good thing. Like, and that is part of the joke. It's like most people would probably want to see something funny, but him just bluntly saying no, like it's like, how often do you hear that in everyday life?
Another scene that gets to me, I think it's been forever since I watched this show. It's been forever since I watched any Transformers show, let's be honest, but I think in episode 1, Ratchet is saying something like really important about like Cliffjumper being dead or something, and all Optimus has to say is, "Your opinion is noted. Your opinion is noted." That's not what Optimus Prime would say. He would say something like actually like personable, you know? Like he's not a freaking human resources AI bot. He's Optimus Prime. He's supposed to inspire confidence in his men. You know?
Yeah, he is kind of the poster child for the brick wall Optimus Prime.
Yeah. DN Prime says he was focused on being Prime, so he thinks he should not do anything but being a Prime. That's a good comment.
I mean, I agree. I think I get where they go. I get sort of what they were going for. That he's this older character. He's sort of embittered by the war. He's tired. But you would think that they would at least give him, because it's referenced in the show how like Optimus and Ratchet are old friends in the series.
Yeah. But it doesn't feel like they show any of that.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to. Well, that's what I was getting to. They don't really give them a rapport.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
But like, okay, so like, if they want Optimus to be old and tired and jaded, they already have a much better character who is all three of those things, and it's freaking Ratchet.
Yeah. I mean, you can argue that it's Optimus Prime putting on a brave face, but it doesn't feel it feels like they were made. I don't know. It feels like they didn't show it enough.
Yeah,
and it ends up with Optimus Prime at least seeming very one-dimensional.
Yeah, and the worst part is the show is named after him. You know, fucking hell.
Yeah. Well, you know, they made Transformers Armada, and there weren't many boats in there, were there?
Yeah, I mean, they did have the C Minicon team, and they had Tidal Wave.
Yeah, okay.
They had boats.
They had boats. They had boats, but boats were not the primary focus.
They had like 9 boats because they repainted the Minicon team.
Okay, but they weren't in the show.
That's an armada.
Okay, fine. Armada had an armada.
I do agree with your point, though, Kit, about the whole Orion Pax arc. That it should have lasted longer, but not necessarily him staying with the Decepticons that long. What probably should have happened was Megatron actually succeeds in destroying the key to Vector Sigma containing Optimus Prime's memories, and basically Pax, quote unquote, has to learn how to be a Prime again.
That would have been
peak TV. Well, maybe not peak, but it would have been great.
His comrades teach him as much as he taught his own comrades.
That actually would have been a really good arc, and I know people in real life who have had to do similar things as well. Like I have a
Man.
family member who lost all of his memories, and then
Like-
his friends had to teach him that exact thing, basically.
Like, to me, the Prime show is just a series full of missed potential.
Yeah.
It had its moments, but it could have had so many more. Anyway, I'm done talking about this this literal cardboard box.
I do want to say it's a bit of a shame because I do feel like the Cybertron games depiction of Optimus Prime sort of embodies way better that original spirit of Optimus Prime. And that's with them only having like what, a total of 20 minutes screen time of cutscenes to develop the character. I suppose you can argue that you have gameplay lines and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but the Cybertron game the Cybertron games character, who is supposedly the same character as Prime Optimus Prime, I feel like is way closer to what Optimus Prime should be.
I'll have to keep that in mind whenever we get around to playing.
Yes, DN Prime, that is very correct. Aligned the problem with the aligned continuity was that it was not aligned whatsoever.
Yeah. It's a misnomer.
Yeah.
Anyway, who's up next? Runestone, I think it's you again.
Mm-hmm. Remember, folks, all Optimus Primes are on the table.
Ooh.
So, 2008 saw the debut of Shattered Glass, which is basically a Transformers take on Star Trek's mirror universe concept. Good guys bad, bad guys good, etc. Which, of course, makes Optimus Prime the tyrannical leader of the evil Autobots. For a time, Shattered Glass was represented by a series of BotCon and official Transformers Collectors Club toys, plus multiple comics from Fun Publications, who back then held the license for both the Collectors Club and convention. Shattered Glass proved so popular that it would continue on even when FunPub lost the license in 2016. Later that year, we got a redeco of Masterpiece MP10 Convoy as SG Optimus Prime. Then there's the Generation Selects 2-pack featuring Prime and Ratchet, both recolors of Earthrise toys. And of course, you have the Shattered Glass collection, which was accompanied by 2 comic miniseries from IDW Publishing. Now, personally, I find IDW's Shattered Glass comics to be an inoffensive read. But I kind of have to agree with TJ Omega that their more serious approach to the concept kind of pales in comparison to FunPub's take, which was more entertainingly campy. And this extends to Optimus himself, because the original Shattered Glass Optimus isn't just evil, he is certifiably insane. He's utterly ruthless in combat. He hears voices in his head. He keeps the corpses of his victims in cryo containers as trophies, which he proudly shows off to Cliffjumper, by the way, the regular G1 Cliffjumper, all the while hamming it up like a lot of classic cartoon villains. Whereas IDW's SG Prime is just your bog standard conqueror. He's still vile, but he's more subdued and somewhat level-headed in comparison. The most we get is a scene of him in his throne room with bots impaled on spikes in the background, emphasizing his brutality, but it's just not enough. I mean, to be fair, this Prime isn't the most prominent character in the comics to begin with. He doesn't even get his own spotlight issue to flesh him out like a lot of the other characters in that series did, but it still doesn't change how lackluster it all feels. And this extends to the design too, because FunPub's first Shattered Glass Prime was a recolor of Classics Voyager class Optimus Prime. Can we go to the next slide, please?
Yes.
And like I said in our Classics retrospective, it is so much more characterful than whenever they redeco a toy of the original G1 or Diaclone-inspired Optimus Prime design. This is not shade towards that design in and of itself, by the way. It's beyond iconic. Nor am I critiquing the molds themselves. But the Diaclone-based design just does not suit an evil Optimus Prime nearly as well, in my opinion. The Classics Voyager class Prime has more muscular proportions along with that aggressive head sculpt in robot mode.
Yeah, he looks pissed.
Yeah, meanwhile, the truck is not just a borderline cube. It sports dynamic angles like with the windows and has a huge, robust-looking air dam up top. The purple and dark blue color scheme with green, brass, and red accents has remained consistent across these figures, but the original has excess battle damage, cracks on the windscreen, the rotated Autobot symbol, the "Till all are gone" slogan printed on the air dam. Other toys might have some of those elements, but they don't go all the way with it. Simply put, the original BotCon toy is just so chugaliciously chaotic and full of life for a character that looks almost halfway to death. I know a lot of people don't have many kind things to say about FunPub these days for various reasons, but when it came to their exclusive toys, when they got it right, they got it fucking right.
One of my favorite bits of Shattered Glass, old Shattered Glass, I must say, is that, you know, this was like well before the era of literally everyone getting a Chug figure. So that, like, a lot of the choices that they had to make with character designs for Shattered Glass, they had to make do with what they had. And that resulted in stuff like, you know, Jazz being a Cybertron Crosswise repaint, or Ratchet coming from the Energon Roadblock mold, stuff like that. Stuff like that just seemed a lot more creative. Like, I like seeing designers having to work within limitations, whereas, you know, with you know, this design here, you know, they already have a G1 Optimus and Chug. Let's just repaint that. You know, it looks just like the cartoon. Let's just repaint that. Let's not, you know, go with anything, you know, freaky and cool and, you know, slightly reinventive. Let's just, you know, palette swap the Sunbow shit, you know?
Yeah, I really gotta echo that sentiment about how, like, there is a real uniqueness to the classic the classic Shattered Glass stuff, along with like early Chug, like Universe 2001, that kind of stuff, where they didn't have a new mold, they didn't have a unique mold for every 86 cast member. So they had to like use Unicron Trilogy characters and repurpose them and figure out how they could be other characters and make clever decisions with design.
Yeah.
It wasn't just paint by numbers.
And the worst part is, like, a lot of those designs that they used for the original Shattered Glass molds have become so retro that they're getting their own Chug updates, and Hasbro are refusing to use those molds to repaint them into Shattered Glass characters. They're just going with the G1 ones. Like, we have, you know, Cybertron Starscream, Cybertron Hotshot in Legacy, you know, this past year. You know, but no, you want a Shattered Glass Starscream? You're getting the Siege mold. What?
I will be fair to Hasbro to say that, like, I'm pretty sure the Shattered Glass Pulse figure came out before Starscream was announced.
I know, like, it was years before, but like it seems like there's no interest in doing those again.
Yeah, no,
on Hasbro's part. That's what I'm complaining about. Like,
it is.
Come on, you know you want to reuse the molds. You have perfectly good opportunities. It's not like I'm going to buy a Shattered Glass Starscream. That mold sucks. But
I
that's
would
neither here nor there.
I would buy a Shattered Glass Bumblebee, or rather Goldbug.
Out of the Hotshot mold, yes, so would I.
Yeah.
I actually like that mold. It seems a slightly controversial opinion.
I'm not really a fan of it, but like, I would be willing to get it if it was in that deco, mainly because Shattered Glass Goldbug is particularly hard to find for a good price.
Yeah. Anyway, back to being actually on topic. I can't say I've read any of the Shattered Glass fiction. I only have one issue of the IDW series that was packed in with Slicer. So I don't really have any like real input on his characterization or anything, but it sounds like from Runestone, from what you've been saying, like it sounds like they basically just did like a personality swap with Megatron as well. And I have to say, like, you know, the original Shatterglass characterization of just being like a complete psychopath falling into the Joker chemicals, Optimus Prime, is preferable.
It is.
Yeah, it's like a bizarro world, and like you said, it doesn't lend itself to a serious depiction because it wasn't meant to be serious. It was meant to be a joke.
Just to throw this in, because I suspect someone in the chat might bring it up, but FunPub actually did a second Shatterglass Optimus Prime recolored from the Reveal the Shield Deluxe. It's not as good of a mold, in my opinion, but I'd even say that works better than the Diaclone design, if only due to its fierce-looking head sculpt. And second, I will say I will give the upcoming MPG figure this. It recontextualizes the battle damage Optimus Prime head from the '86 movie into one that represents SG Prime in his natural worn state. So I'll give it that.
I suppose that's a decent reuse. Though I will say one thing about these more recent toys is the only battle damage that they appear to carry over from the original design is the shattered window on Optimus, on his left pec, which is like kind of boring.
Yeah, like Till All Are Gone was the best part of the original BotCon toy. Such a crime that it wasn't included on the Selects release. I mean, I think Toy Hacks fixed that, but you know, that should have been something Hasbro did on their own.
True, but also, like, considering that we had an era where every toy was weathered, you'd think that Hasbro would like actually put weathering on a character that would, like, the weathering is an integral part of the design.
Thank you.
I think the Till All Are Gone slogan is on top of the MPG figure as well, but of course it's based on a design that is not nearly as dynamic as the classics Voyager.
Yeah, I think I see it on there. Don't get me wrong; these colors still look great on the Diaclone design, but you know, it's no contest which one is actually better for this. Spoiler alert: it's him. Oh yeah. Char, I think you're up.
Yes. Okay. So.
Groomer Miss Prime.
Yeah. So I have to say off the bat, I cannot make a proper judgment about the writing of this character because I have not seen Earthspark. From what I have seen, it's not really my thing anyway. But I can't make a judgment.
So is this just you bitching about his character design?
Yes, this is just me. That we said that one of the criteria was character design, and I couldn't think of another Optimus Prime that I actively disliked. So I
was just clarifying for the audience.
Okay, yeah, this is just me bitching about the character design. And we'll start with the face, shall we?
I'm sorry, I can't look at Groomer Wojak without laughing.
Okay, so it's I don't know what they were doing with this face. Well, no, I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to go for like a sort of middle ground between the Prime design, the Prime aesthetic, and the animated aesthetic with the big chins. But it really doesn't land. And you know, with the Yeah. I'll be honest, the eyes in Earthspark, a problem I've had with the series is the eyes all look dead to me. They all have like very very soulless looking eyes to me in that show. And Optimus Prime here is no exception. Not only does he have a really weirdly long face, but also his forehead is really short. It's just it's not it's it looks like the helmet has been squeezed around the face. It sits around the face in a weird way. And then we can go to the main design, like the full design. It looks weirdly scrawny. Is that just me, or does it look scrawny to you guys? Like a scrawny version of Optimus Prime?
Yeah, I think they're trying to go for that cinched waist thing, and like I can see, like it's the tie. I'm pretty sure those are the front tires right behind those like pipes, and it does too much to break the continuity of the torso, you know, and it makes it look smaller than it actually is.
It also makes the limbs look like the limbs to me look weirdly long and stretched out. He looks like a very he does not have like that heroic figure that you would expect Optimus Prime to have. And it's overall it's just a miss for me. It's a massive miss. He has no organs. Where are his organs? And also, the truck mode isn't pictured, but also the truck mode, in my opinion, isn't very inspiring. It doesn't have like I think a big part of Optimus Prime's trucks is that they need to have that big grill. They need to have like that big blocky front grill, that is like almost like a monolith. Either if it's a long nose or a flat front, it has to have that sort of block shape. And on this version of Optimus Prime, the not the windscreen, the hood, the hood sort of slopes up, and it doesn't give a very good silhouette to the truck mode. It's just, yeah, it's not my favorite.
DN Prime, sorry, no. Bio Dragon says, "Trust me, Char. The eyes in season 2 are even worse.
Oh,
they
God.
like drift apart and go in different directions."
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know what his truck mode looks like, to be honest, but this design doesn't hit it for me either. The bits they changed don't look good, and the rest is painfully generic. It's yeah, it's like you said, he's trying to be animated Optimus coupled with Prime Optimus, and he's worse than he takes like the worst of both of them.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it.
Which is kind of ironic because Prime is basically animated plus the movies.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say about this design if you guys don't.
Yeah, me neither.
Right.
The one thing I will say is that I have seen a fair bit of Earthspark, and I can kind of give credit for them at least trying to put in a little bit of emotion and personality back into Optimus Prime. But the whole thing about the emojis, I wasn't kidding. It happens in episode 2 of Spark, where I think Megatron, Dot, and Optimus are contacting each other to rendezvous for a mission or something. And Optimus Prime responds with smiley face, thumbs up, rose, and an old-fashioned robot head.
I'm imagining that's like his version of like a signature.
All I know is if you two chipped in on that conversation, you'd post a fucking soy jack.
You know us too well.
Remember,
So
kids.
true.
Remember, kids. You know you've made a bad Optimus Prime design if his face resembles a fucking soy jack.
So true.
But you can make a soy jack out of anyone. That's the magic of soy jack. Well, Wojak,
but
really.
there are certain faces that lend themselves better to Wojaks than others. You must admit.
Pouring one out for 4chan. Rip in peace.
Rip in peace, indeed.
Yeah.
God,
Anyway.
if you had it your way, soy jacks would be a breakfast cereal, for God's sake.
I don't even eat breakfast.
I'd love a big bowl of soy jacks.
A big bowl of soy. A big bowl of soy jack O's. Not actually made with soy.
Do they all come with a toy?
A toy jack.
They come with a toy jack.
Anyway, speaking of toys, the second half of this show is basically like the first half, except we're talking exclusively about toys of Optimus Prime. First up, we have me. My favorite Optimus Prime toy is Classics Voyager class Optimus Prime. It is quintessentially what I think of when I hear the word reimagination or reinvention. I'm not sure if that first one was a real word, but like this is what I want from Chug. This is what I want from Chug. It's not, oh, we're gonna make it look just like the original. No, like take all the best bits, imagine him in your mind, and just sort of like roughly draw out what you think he looks like, and just make him look badass. That was the appeal of Classics Optimus to me. That's the appeal of a lot of Classics and Generations toys, like all the way up through like 2010. To me, they took the best. They made like their own spin on these toys, on these characters, while still making them look recognizable. But it's fresh. It's not the same thing over and over. And this toy just has a lot of good play value. It's big, it's hefty, it rolls like a dream. It looks great in both modes. I mean, you might want to say something about that kibble there, but over 20 years, they've I've kind of got a blind spot for those. His weapons is like, he has like the best weapon storage I've ever seen. His famous ion blaster becomes the smokestacks, and he has a brand new wind vane. No other Optimus Prime up until that point that I can think of had a wind vane. Well, okay, maybe Hero Optimus Prime had one, now that I think about it. But like it could be a shield. You could hold it like a shield, like a little buckler, or you could turn it into a big rifle. Just he's never had that before, but he has one now. That's cool, Or you just keep it on his back, like it doesn't even have to come off for transformation or anything. And if you unfold the gun and you can peg it onto the wind vane, and now you have double-barreled shoulder cannon on an Optimus Prime. Come on, what's not to like here? It is an amazing toy. It looks great. His face sculpt is amazing. He looks pissed off at everything, which is why he works so great for the Shattered Glass character. They really cooked with this toy. They really did.
Yeah. I got to say on that.
That ain't kibble. Those are shields. Thank you.
On the subject of like, we've gone over this a million times, but like on the subject of classics, like classics versus modern generations, fucking preach on that. Like,
yeah. DM Prime says, we keep gushing about near perfection. Just an ankle and wrist joints needed for an upgrade for this to make him timeless. I would argue he's already timeless. He doesn't need those to be perfect. He doesn't need that. Seb, he does have a waist joint. He does have a waist joint. That's how good he is.
Doesn't he have two?
Yeah. The upper torso joint is the one you actually use for transformation. But he does have a dedicated waist joint. I honestly think a waist joint is a lot more important to include than wrists or ankles. At least if they're only coming with guns. If they come with a sword, then wrists are great. But I can live without them for most characters.
I think that the thing about swords though is like a really important important piece of articulation for swords if you want to use them properly.
Yeah.
Is downward wrist.
Exactly.
A lot of things miss that.
Yeah. That's what I'd want on like sword characters. But like if it's just an Optimus Prime that comes with guns, you don't need wrists. You don't really need wrists. You're okay.
You don't need wrists. But no, yeah, I get what you mean. This is really what you would hope when you imagine a reimagining of Optimus Prime, of like the classic Optimus Prime. And it is a shame how in recent years we've kind of tended towards every new Optimus Prime toy being Generation 1 Optimus Prime, and every new figure in general trying to be the 86 show.
Yeah. But like, why be you when you can be new?
True.
So true.
So ratchet pilled right there.
I watched that movie last night. It's on my mind. I wanted to throw in a "You can shine no matter what you're made of" when y'all were talking about animated Optimus.
So yeah, I do agree with the whole idea that this is I still stand by that this feels like it was almost designed for an evil Optimus Prime or an evil clone of him, because they also did this as Nemesis, I believe.
Yes, they did.
Also, Kit, although we're only picking one toy as a favorite, do you have any honorable mentions?
God, most of them, honestly. I'm going to avoid one of them that one of y'all picked, but like a lot of movie Optimuses I really like. Revenge of the Fallen Leader. Movie 1 Leader is really good. Let's see who else. I don't want to say any ones that like I don't already have. Can we count Primals as well? Do they count?
If we counted Primals, I'd probably be talking about him on the media side instead of the.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I don't. It's sort of a gray area, but I'm presuming Primal counts as a different character.
I keep my Primals on. Okay, I have a dedicated Optimus Prime shelf because I have so many, and I keep my Primals on that shelf as well. And
what about Kit? What about that animated Cybertron Deluxe?
Oh yes, how could I forget that? One of the best Christmas presents I ever got. Yeah, that's an amazing toy. It's like my favorite take on a Cybertronian Optimus, besides anything based off War for Cybertron. But like as a toy, that one clears okay. So War for Cybertron is like my favorite when it comes to design, but animated Cybertron mode Optimus is like the best toy of a Cybertronian Optimus ever made. Does that make sense?
The transformation on that one is fantastic.
Especially the bit where the way he transforms, he's holding his axe the entire way and he swings it down over his head. That's amazing. That if I was into stop motion, I would not be able to put that toy down. I swear to God.
I just want to. All right, I don't want to get on Biodragon's case too much, but how do you get things up?
Or I think only I can do it. Who? Which comment?
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. That's the thing. This doesn't need an update. What we need is the mindset that created this toy back.
Yeah. Yeah, like we want the spirit of this toy. We don't want the. I mean, a reissue would be fine.
Well, they've done
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've done plenty of repaints, but they never did a straight reissue of this.
Oh,
But I'm
yeah.
splitting hairs. Like we don't need like this toy to be done again. We just want new toys to be done like this. You know,
with the same mindset. Of like squinting your eyes, looking at the design, and then doing your own version.
Yeah, I honestly think a lot of the blame, not nearly most, but a lot, it lies in the fans. It's just not what they want. They just want. I just want my Sumbo cartoons. I don't know why they come from Arkansas, but
yeah. I don't know how many Transformers fans there are in Kentucky.
I know one.
Well, there you go, I guess. Yes, it is. Unfortunately, accuracy is the name of the game at this point. We could go into how it's like because Transformers is a nostalgia brand now instead of a toy brand. But like maybe that's a whole podcast right there.
Yeah, like okay, so here's an example. I don't. Okay, maybe it's a bad example, but like I don't like Age of the Prime's Red Alert because he's accurate to the Armada design. I like him because he feels good as a toy. Okay, this isn't exactly what this is not really a great example because it's not really what we're talking about. I just really hate the original Armada Red Alert. But like,
I mean, there's a space.
Like he could look a lot different, but as long as he played it like this and felt this good, and still like looked at him if you squint, it'd still be as great a toy as it is.
You know what it is, Kit?
What?
Do you remember that one Armada Optimus that was revealed at like Wonderfest that never saw the light of day?
Yeah, he looks so cool. He looks like
that was like the classics. That was like what Classics Prime is to G1. That was almost like that toy was to Armada. Almost.
Compared to the legacy version that we got, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, in some ways, the legacy version is quite slavish to the animated design. In other ways, it's like inaccurate, but that's more due to like engineering issues than it is to an intentional design shift. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. A better example I can think of is, okay, I don't really compliment IDW very, very often, but I love their Rodimus design because it looks nothing like, I mean, it's not based on any particular version of Rodimus. It's completely, unique and like built from the ground up, but it's very clearly, oh, this is Rodimus, and it, like that's the kind of stuff that I want, That's what this toy does in physical form.
Yeah, or RTS Lugnut. That's another example.
It captures the spirit of the character without necessarily copying a previous design of that character.
Exactly.
Yes.
It has like enough visual like enough visual treats, like he has pipes, he has the big back spoiler, but otherwise he's completely unrecognizable if you drew him in black and white, I just love shit like that, it was done very well.
Yes.
I was still talking about Rodimus, but anyway, I think I've rambled enough.
Yeah, I feel like we've kind of sidetracked a lot more, but like I think we all can agree that we love this toy and we love what it represents as well.
Yeah. Runestone, I think you're up next.
Yep.
Whoa.
So, the collector-targeted masterpiece lines are all about sizable, complex, detailed, and articulated figures of classic characters. Before it was rebranded as MPG, the original masterpiece range went through at least 3 phases in my mind. The first was simply about capturing the overall essence of the character, blending elements of the Generation 1 toy and Sumbo cartoon. And it was mostly just the big names like Optimus and Megatron, plus any easy recolors they could make.
Don't forget Grimlock.
Well, Optimus and Megatron were examples of big names, not all of them. The second phase was similar, but there was a greater emphasis on at least robot mode scale, though the balance of the G1 toy and show aesthetics was more or less intact. Plus, they started working on the foot soldiers like the Autobot cars. It's hard to pinpoint exactly when it began, but Phase 3 had the masterpiece figures lean more towards the cartoon, or toon maxing, as some might say.
I think MP36 was the first time I recognized it moving towards that direction. But I wouldn't exactly put it in either category. Like it was a very transitional design, I think.
Honestly, from Masterpiece Inferno to Megatron was sort of a transitional phase, if you want to call it that. But as I was saying, you could actually make the argument that we have an Optimus for each of these 3 phases. MP1 for phase 1, which I know Char has. MP44 for phase 3. But one of my favorite Optimus Prime toys is from phase 2 of Masterpiece, MP10. Now, I'm at a disadvantage as I don't own MP1 or 44, but from what I've heard, they have their own strengths. I have no doubt that MP1 still has its charm for a lot of fans. It's a fairly large toy for one. It's also constructed from die-cast metal, sports rubber tires, comes with a lot of accessories, and has several gimmicks like a flip-up comm screen, a moving mouth plate, and a light-up matrix.
It's kind of weird because it was the first time Takara was trying to do a collector tier Transformers toy when they were like just coming off Energon.
It was like hot in the middle of Energon.
Well, exactly.
It does look like MP1 has a lot going for it, but I can only imagine that the size and die-cast makes it heavy and a bit too nerve-wracking to handle at the best of times. The truck mode also has some oddities like those sunken-in headlights. And if you wanted a trailer, you had to get the MP4 re-release. MP44, like I said, aims for cartoon likeness. He's leaner. You have some design cues like the square instead of rectangular cab windows. There's the deco with the white instead of grey thighs, no silver stripes on the cab, the lack of blue highlights on the trailer. On that note, MP44 comes with a trailer from the start. Meanwhile, the main figure is smaller than MP1, sports less diecast, but comes with far more accessories and has its own electronics. However, on top of being one of the most expensive Transformers releases ever, the transformation is very complex, or it looks very complex due to an incredibly high parts count. I mean, if you like a challenge, then great, that's the toy for you. But for others, it could get tiresome. To say nothing of the reports of the knees breaking.
I do hear from people who actually own the toy that the transformation is a lot more intuitive than it looks on camera. I have had experiences with toys like that, so I think I believe them.
If I get round to the MPG Shattered Glass Prime, I'll discover it for myself. But for me, MP10 hits a near perfect balance. The truck is basically the 80s Freightliner cab over we've come to expect, with a smoother face than MP1. The transformation is involved, but still enjoyable. The robot looks like Optimus Prime with every visual cue you could want and is highly posable to boot. Accessory-wise, you get the Ion Blaster, the Matrix of Leadership, Energy Axe, a little Spike Wiki figure, Roller, and the trailer that converts into a battle station / repair bay. If you bought the Takara release, the deco was closer to the Generation 1 toy. Meanwhile, the Hasbro version is based more on the cartoon with its brighter colors and actually painted optics. Though you still have the silver stripes and vacuumized metal parts. If you bought the Hasbro Asia re-release like I did, you also get the key to Vector Sigma. The only complaint I have is that the legs could peg together more solidly in truck mode. But beyond that, a lot of people, even to this day, consider MP10 the definitive masterpiece Optimus Prime. I mean, it was certainly popular enough to warrant an army of recolors. And now we have MPG-17 Optimus Prime style gen. So that's 4 G1 Masterpiece Optimi, possibly 5 if you count Jinrai, because for those watching who don't know, the original Power Master Optimus Prime toy was marketed as a separate character for Takara's Super God Master Force series named Jinrai. Well, that's just Prime.
This has been a toy that I've always wanted to have in my collection. I've always loved the look of it. Remember when having Optimuses that come with trailers and the axe and a Matrix was special?
Yeah.
Now they're a dime a dozen. You got Earthrise, you got Studio Series 86, you got what else? Missing Link. I will say though, like going back to your if you had a question, if I had any honorable mentions, missing Link would be the big one, and
Yeah.
I also really like Studio Series 86. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, MP10 was probably like the big ticket item of its day, and and I'd love to get my hands on this toy in the future. I'd honestly love to get any Masterpiece Optimus Prime. I find them all very interesting in their own unique ways.
I have MP10 Optimus Prime, and I think he is pretty much the definitive. He is my definitive Masterpiece Optimus Prime. I can't justify buying another Masterpiece Optimus Prime. That's why I'm not getting MPG Optimus Prime.
Okay, here's a way to justify it. It's a different toy, and different toys is always a good thing.
I have enough Optimus Primes, goddammit, and certainly enough G1s. No, I pretty much agree with everything Rune said. This is basically, to me at least, the definitive G1 Optimus Prime. I like the aesthetic. I like how it's like it of course is the G1 design, but it has enough detail to be visually interesting and not a flat block like the MP44 is. But it's also not. It's also like well proportioned and not sort of lanky and short in the arms like MPO1 is, and it's not oversized like MPO1 is, so you can actually have him with other characters and not look wildly out of scale.
Yeah.
He has a solid, chunky transformation. Like everything feels like it has a place. There's not very many panels. There are panels, but not like to the degree where it gets annoying or it feels like it's almost shell forming. Most of the vehicle becomes most of the robot, which I quite appreciate.
Yeah. Just trying to push down my jealousy of you owning this toy.
It's a very nice toy. There's a reason why it endured for a good 10 years. I think that's how long it was until MP44 was released.
Something like that.
To give my honorable mentions for favorite Optimus Prime toys, I'll say the Hunt for the Decepticons Battle Blades Optimus Prime is my favorite take on the movie design, or at least the original Bayverse design. You brought up Missing Link Convoy for good reason.
Yeah, I think that one. I think that one was. I feel like all of us thought about putting that one on the list.
It almost goes without saying.
Yeah.
I also like the Studio Series Gamer Edition Optimus Prime.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with some other choices we've discussed, like the animated Cybertron mode Optimus and the Classics Voyager, of course.
I have a vintage God Jinrai, and that is an amazing toy as well. I don't. Does that one count? It was released as Optimus over here without God Bomber.
I'd say fair enough.
Yeah, I think he at least counts more than an Optimus Primal would.
Yeah, I mean, he was depending on who you ask. It was designed as an Optimus Prime, so
Yeah.
I think it's reasonable to say it's an Optimus Prime toy. And again, I guess Optimus Primal kind of was originally, because they were going for it being Optimus Prime but a monkey instead of a different character in the original rendition. But the point is, Power Master Optimus Prime is an Optimus Prime, and God Jinrai is effectively just a better version of Power Master Optimus Prime.
Yeah,
It's fair.
Anyway, I would love. I really hope that someday soon someone will make like a comparison review of MP10 and MPG-17. I'd really love to see how they stack up against each other. Garrett says Char's thinking too hard. Yeah, I can smell the fumes from here.
They don't call me Chard for nothing.
Anyway, Char, you're up next with your favorites. And this one, I guess everyone expected me to take it, but...
No, it's my pick. It is Galaxy Force Convoy. I'm not calling him Cybertron Optimus Prime because when you say Cybertron Optimus Prime, that can mean too many different things. I feel like the fandom and Hasbro has kind of come to the agreement that he's just called Galaxy Convoy now.
It is the best way to differentiate him, yes.
It's also way more punchy of a name. And this figure holds in quite a special place for me because it was my first ever Optimus Prime toy. It is I got it when I was like 4 years old, something like that, and I still have my original copy. Though I've Frankensteined it with a couple others just to get it back to like complete state again. But that's besides the point. This figure is it's incredible. It's a really good, chunky, well-articulated Optimus Prime. It's only missing a waist swivel, and even then, it can get pretty far without a waist swivel. It's well detailed. It has lots of paint apps. It has, of course, the Japanese version has more. It strikes a really nice silhouette in combined mode and in its miniature robot form. The truck mode has a really nice front silhouette. The cab has this really cool tilted down windscreen that gives it sort of an aggressive vibe. And it's really chunky. It feels good to hold.
Except when the hip ratchets give out on you.
Thankfully I haven't had that happen to me yet. Has happened on Grand Convoy, but I fixed mine. So skill issue. And also he has a bunch of cool gimmicks. Even besides the Cybertron key, he has gimmicks that are just built in. For instance, the face mask being attached to a lever on the back of the head. I'm pretty sure this is the first Optimus Prime, if I'm not mistaken, to have a retractable face mask.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
Well,
and it's a really
it was.
It's a really cool feature.
And the first non-collector oriented Optimus to come out in the United States has a lot of qualifiers. He has a Matrix, is what I'm trying to say.
He has a Matrix. I'm pretty sure he's also no. I'm sure there's other. I'm sure there's like a Primal has articulated fingers.
Optimus does.
Yeah, Optimal Optimus has articulated fingers, so I can't really give him that. I can't give him that accolade.
Still, he's punching above his weight compared to other leader class releases at the time.
Oh, absolutely. And he does all this with like a very simplistic transformation as well. It's just push the arms back and sit him down and put the head in, and it looks good. You know, he's able to do a lot with. I don't want to say subtlety because that's not the right word, but what he has goes a long way.
Yeah. I mean, what is there for me to say? I'm kind of the Cybertron Optimus guy. He was my subject for review number 100 for a good reason. I've had him since forever, and it is definitely like not just one of the best Optimus Primes in my collection, but one of the best toys in my collection.
Oh, for sure. He is a all-timer. He's probably he is the best of the 3 Unicron Trilogy Optimus Primes, and in my opinion, they're all good. You know,
yeah,
that's strong competition right there.
Yeah, that's very high praise. The Unicron Trilogy was very good with how they made their Optimuses.
Hell, I think he's a strong contender for the best Optimus Prime with a super mode. He's definitely up there.
Yeah. This toy, whenever I'm asked, I have been asked this in person before, actually. When I'm asked if my house was burning down and I could only go back and save one toy, which one would it be? I answer this one every time.
God, who's asking you that?
Hey, one of my friends IRL came by to see
to burn your house down, kid?
Yeah, I put in a police report.
Okay. God.
All I can say is, you lucky sons of bitches.
He's a really good figure.
This, like, if I ever see the City of Nation and I have the money for it, I'm nabbing it. I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Because I'll be damned if he isn't an absolute pain to find on the aftermarket complete. But hey, I guess there's always the Siege Galaxy upgrade Optimus Prime.
Oh, yeah. I considered making that my pick. Spoilers, it's not, but I considered making that my pick for worst Optimus Prime toy, actually. Perhaps it would have made a good juxtaposition for this toy. But it absolutely pales in comparison.
It bastardizes it. It does literally everything wrong a Chug toy could do.
Yeah, it reimagines it in the worst way possible.
It barely reimagines it, honestly.
Well, that's what I mean. It does all the things different that it shouldn't, and it does all the things different, and it does all the things the same that it should do different.
Yeah, it's paradoxically, it's too slavish to the original design and too different from what made the toy good. You know, like it looks the same at all costs, is what I'm trying to say. You know, the inner robot completely sucks because it's, you know, an Ultra Magnus retool. The trailer doesn't even hold together very well. Like it's all misaligned. The guns are hollow and flimsy. The plastic feels like shit. He's so small.
Also, I'm sorry, DN Prime, but you have to understand, to us, that toy is basically sacrilege.
Yeah. Like, oh god, it's just not fun. It's not even fun at all. It's so bad.
On a more serious note, I guess there is another alternate toy of this design, and it was released in a fairly obscure Transformers toy line called Hybrid Style.
I have the hybrid style.
Is that what you're essentially picking right now, or do you have both versions?
I have the Galaxy Convoy. I don't have the G1 style, hybrid style.
What I mean,
I see what you mean. No, I'm not picking that toy. My favorite is the full size one. I'm just saying that I also own that toy and I also like it. But for different reasons.
Because the hybrid style is basically a downsizing of Galaxy Convoy. It also has die-cast metal, apparently.
It has die-cast metal. It has die-cast metal in the shin extenders. It's kind of weird because it has the same engineering, but it introduces more joints. Like that version has a waist swivel, and it has wrists at the expense of the hands having to be replaced in vehicle mode. And you know it loses the head gimmick, and it loses quite a few gimmicks. Honestly, it's not that great. Actually, it doesn't hold together well either. It doesn't have any C clips, so the shin extenders don't hold onto the legs very well at all. It's a novelty, actually. Now that I think of it, I think that's the best way to describe him, is a novelty.
Do you have any? Sorry.
I will say, like, an actual legitimate new toy of this design wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for people who have trouble getting a hold of the original. And if they manage to work in some improvements, because I think you said, or someone said, that the hip ratchets aren't the strongest. And
that was me.
Yeah, and also the one thing that you somewhat praised the Galaxy upgrade a figure for was the adjustable cannon handles. So if they incorporated that on a new Cybertron Optimus Prime, well, I think it'd be cool.
Knock on wood. I did like the cannon handles. I forgot about those. I sold off the toy a long time ago, so I don't remember a lot of details.
Oh, also the hybrid style has cannon handles as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
But yeah, no. I get where you're coming from, Rune, but at the same time, I almost think given the way Hasbro is today, and things like budgets and the tight restrictions, you would basically have to pull a Star Optimus Prime. You would have to make the toy basically at Titan class to be able to make something that could hold candle to the original, in my opinion, with modern day Hasbro sensibilities. It would probably also cost about the same adjusted for inflation, so fair enough, I guess.
So, Char, do you have any honorable mentions of your own?
Have we mentioned Missing Link Convoy yet?
I don't think we've mentioned Missing Link.
No, yeah. Well, okay. No, I do want to say one thing about Missing Link. Is Missing Link, like playing with him, made me realize how important Optimus Prime's trailer is to the design. Maybe this sounds a bit silly, but just looking at him with the trailer behind him in vehicle mode made me realize how important the whole silhouette of the truck with the trailer is to Optimus Prime's design. What's another good one? Fire Convoy. That's another one. Fire Convoy is a pick. And let's just give honorable mentions to all the other Unicron Trilogy Optimus Primes. Armada, so long as it doesn't burn your house down, it's a good toy. It's a fun toy.
And if it does, I'm gonna. I know which toy I'm gonna be saving, and it's not Armada.
Yeah. Grand Convoy gets a bit of shit, but you know what? He's a fun toy as well. And of course, he is very cool when combined with Wing Saber. Do I have any other honorable mentions? I don't want to keep us here all day, so I'm just going to try and see if I can ring anything off the top of my head.
On a technicality, you do own the G2 Laser Optimus Prime mold.
I do actually own a G2 Laser Optimus Prime, just like an incomplete one as well that doesn't have anything. It's just the core robot. But yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll say it. G2 Laser Optimus Prime. I don't own that toy, but I own that mold, and I love that. And I love that mold. So yeah, I'll go with G2 Laser Optimus Prime. That's a great Optimus Prime figure.
I feel like we're going to be coming back to this shortly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, now let's get our angry faces back on as we round out our least favorite Optimus Prime toys. Once again, I am first, and we're going back to classics. It is Classics Deluxe Class Optimus Prime. This is the second figure I ever reviewed on this channel, and it sucks. This is like okay, so like what movie is it where it's like there's two twins played by Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, and like Arnold's the twin who has all the good genes and Danny's the one who has all the bad genes?
I'm pretty sure that's the plot of Metal Gear Solid.
Okay. I don't think they're in Metal Gear Solid though.
I know what you're talking about, but
Anyway, that's what happened with Classics Optimus Primes. Okay. DN Prime says the movie is just called Twins. Thank you. That's what happened with Classics. The Voyager class got all the good genes, and the Deluxe class got all the bad genes. The Deluxe class is G1 accurate. Oh, it's G1 accurate. It's a flat-nosed 80s looking semi-truck, and the robot mode admittedly looks pretty good. I do like the robot mode, but oh Lord, that vehicle mode, it sucks. The legs just hang off the back. There's no telescoping or anything. It's held together in the middle by just one measly little friction joint. And the weight of the legs or the cab by itself is enough to overcome the tension on that friction joint. And just look at this thing. Like, even I wish I had included some more angles of the cab, but it's just misshapen. It's awful. His gun is nice, at least. Mine's broken. That's why it looks like that.
I actually think it looks kind of cool like that. It looks like a tactical gun.
Thank you. I might shave down the breakage a little to make it look more purposeful.
It looks like a gun out of Fall of Cybertron.
Yeah, I can see that. And it makes it a fun little turret, I guess. But if you plug it in a little too hard, the legs just come apart. So it's just not a fun toy at all. I hate it. DM Prime, all for the Despacito tornado.
Can I say one bit of praise about this toy?
What?
It's not really praise, but the handles, given that gun has like handles on the back, I think this is the only Optimus Prime that we can say turns into a technical.
Turns into a what?
A technical.
Wow, what is that?
It's a okay. So you know, like what, like Middle Eastern. Let's just go with terrorists. People, insurgents. You know how they have like Toyota Hiluxes, which they ride around on and have machine guns on the back?
Yeah.
Those are called. Those are referred to as technicals.
Oh, sweet. So Optimus joined ISIS.
Yes. So I got to give him praise for that because it's a funny thing in my opinion. With the handles, it looks like someone is supposed to stand on the back there, and the only sort of design you get like on that is either World War II Russian anti-air trucks or like Middle Eastern terrorist technicals.
Inshallah, we will get better toys than this. That's all I really had to say about this.
And it's not like it's the only Optimus Prime with a trash truck mode. Isn't that right, Robot Masters? Isn't that right, Hybrid Style? Isn't that right, Studio Series Devastation Deluxe Optimus Prime?
Oh boy, we're still in this shit. God. Hasbro never learns. They never learn.
Yeah.
Like how
Optimus...
you'd think that with how many Optimus Primes they make a year, they'd have gotten this down by now.
I mean, they've done good deluxe primes before.
Yeah, but like you'd think they'd stop making bad ones.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You'd think they'd figure out how to do this by now. You'd think they'd have it down pat. You'd think they'd have Optimus Prime down to a science at this point.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Oh man. But yeah, the Megatron that this toy came with is a lot better. It still has its issues, but it's a lot better.
Yeah.
I do still like the robot mode. The robot mode is fine.
Besides the fact that the spinny gimmick doesn't lock in place.
It actually does. It's just
Doesn't it? Does it?
Yeah, you have to pull the tab back out and that locks it.
Oh my god, I never realized that as a kid.
Yeah. Neither did I. I didn't realize that until like a couple days before I started my channel.
Lamel.
Anywho,
also, I just want to say I feel like the head sculpt, like it isn't the most inspiring Optimus Prime head sculpt.
It's not. It's very soft. It's not the worst I've seen by any stretch, but it ain't great. Could be better. It feels a little dream wavy to me with how soft and puffy it is.
That's what she said.
Oh. Sorry. Anyhow, Runestone, you ready?
Yep. By the way,
cut.
don't think for a second that I wasn't tempted to put a Classics Deluxe Optimus as my choice, but I thought it was an unspoken rule that it would have been cheating because it's so obvious. So instead, I've gone with a figure that is just disappointing. So to recap, Alternators was a line of Generation 1 characters that turned into 1:24 scale vehicles from real-life manufacturers. The Optimus Prime they did transformed into a Dodge Ram SRT-10 pickup truck. There is the word that this mold was initially conceived as another character altogether, who exactly it was, we'll never know. But then you factor
Ironhide.
Probably. But then you factor in the Japanese counterpart to Alternators, Binaltech, and reportedly pickup trucks aren't that common in Japan. At least they weren't at the time.
Oh, they just have like little tiny Daihatsu trucks.
As such, they more than likely felt the mold would have sold poorly over there, unless it was done as a big name character. And what better known truck transformer than Optimus himself? Except Takara were initially planning on releasing it as Jinrai. But those plans fell through, and instead we got two versions of Optimus or Convoy, one in Binaltech, the other in Chris Players.
I'm sorry, what was that? I didn't quite hear it.
It was something Players, I think.
Oh.
Smith's Players?
But whether you own Optimus or any of the Nemesis Prime recolors they did, it's not a great mold. The vehicle mode is at shining point, as you'd expect. But it has a minor issue where the steering gimmick doesn't properly... It doesn't really work properly unless you slide the wheels together as part of the transformation. However, the robot mode is where things get iffy. It feels underdeveloped. The truck hood forms the chest, and I don't believe every Optimus needs the window, pecs, and grill abs. Our ideal one Optimus just has the former, Armada Optimus the latter. But still, but this just looks boring. And it doesn't lock in place either. And also, it's not shown here, but the grill actually hinges down to form a waist guard, and if you bought the Alternators release, it's unpainted. Both of Takara's releases are better painted in general. The proportions are off to teeny tiny thighs, humongous lower legs. The truck bed doesn't even fold up to condense things a little. There's also a kibble problem with the seats stuck to the forearms and the fenders attached to the shoulders. The latter you could call a laser Optimus homage, but the tall shoulder pads worked there because they were not only cleaner, but they housed freaking missile pods. This comes off as chunks of truck we didn't know what to do with. For what it's worth...
Laser beams.
What?
I was making a Dr. Evil reference. Freaking laser beams in his shoulders. Never mind.
But for what it's worth, the posability on this toy is decent despite the chunkiness, and the engine/gun accessory has a proper transformation to it. But it's a puny ass weapon. I think it's only beaten in that department by the Scion XB mold. This toy just needed a few revisions here and there. It's not awful, but it's one of the worst alternator molds for me, alongside, funnily enough, the Dodge Viper SRT-10. Dodge no peek when they see it? Yeah, right.
I'm just shooting a dirty look at my sideswipe in the back. This toy, I will say, is a very interesting one, and I might still want to get one for the novelty, because I do like alternators. I do remember watching your review like a couple dozen times years ago, and I remember when you were demonstrating the transformation, you looked like you were about to break the toy trying to extend the legs, and you barely and even all of that effort for just like half an inch of thigh. Don't take that out of context, please.
Someone already has.
No. But like that looks like that's like a miserable. It's a miserable experience to go through. And you made that video when the toy was still new. I can't imagine how much more frightening it would be now.
It's just not an impressive figure to me.
Alternators seems like the definition of a mixed bag.
Yeah, I was just about to say alternators was like the entire line was hit or miss. You could get some really cool figures in there, like Jazz, and then you could get stuff like this. I think you can chalk a lot of it up to the fact that Hasbro hasn't really done anything like this before or since.
Yeah. Alternators walked so Alternity could run.
So true.
Yeah, I want Alternity Optimus Prime at some point, and maybe that will also be a TF Nation purchase.
I've seen it a couple times. Ooh, pardon. No, it does look very cool. I think I've seen it at Toy Fu once or twice, so maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, this toy has like the most basic bitch transformation that you could possibly imagine. It does not look good. What were they thinking?
What were they thinking, indeed?
What were they thinking?
Yeah.
Hey.
We should probably move on to the final pick. And
Yes!
it's a toy we've bashed countless times before on this show.
Say with me, lads.
Legacy Laser Optimus
Optimus
Prime.
Deja vu.
I feel like I've already gone over this toy before, but for those who are new here, so no one, this toy took the elegant simplicity of the original Laser Prime and entirely squandered it. Mainly so that they could reuse the legs from Earthrise Optimus Prime, which were in of themselves a partial reuse of Siege Optimus Prime's legs, which is two layers of reuse of the legs, which led to them having to make this very strange torso transformation just so that the hips could fold into the torso so that they could make a thigh retraction without actually having to have a thigh retraction, because the original toy didn't need a thigh retraction. And by original toy, I mean the Earthrise figure, because it transformed differently. But of course, the original Laser Prime, the thigh retraction was a very important part of the transformation because it was one of the two things of the transformation. It was you pull out the legs and you split the front of the cab, and then you have the head, and that's basically your transformation. And it made a very nice silhouette with excellent articulation. One of the best articulated toys of its time, the original one. And they decided to make it a retool of a completely different design. And of course it is. I think this is the progenitor of Chug Shoulders. Is there a previous case of Chug Shoulders before Laser Prime?
Probably, but this is like the, you know how they when they name new dinosaurs, they have like a what's it called, like a base specimen that they compare all other specimens to. This is that.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the first one discovered. It's just the most illustrative case.
Yeah. This is the prime example of Chug Shoulders. Once again, on the original toy, the shoulders were articulated so that they would go around with the arms, which would mean that you would get more dynamic poses, and the shoulders would move, and you could have them pose so that the shoulders are coming forwards or backwards. On this version, the shoulders are connected directly to the torso, so not only are they static, but they in fact impede the movement of the arms. The arms, of course, being too short because they had to fit inside the cab for this, behind the cab for this transformation scheme that was just wrong. It's all wrong. It's one of my favorite Transformers designs of all time. Butchered.
Yes, Michael Pytel, it is called a holotype. Thank you. DN Prime asks, is it bad that I own all three versions of this and I love all three? Yes, it is. You're a bad person. You have detention for the next month.
See me after class.
I feel like anything I say about this mold would be beating a dead horse. I tried reviewing this once, and I just could not put together a script that I was happy with. I was just not gelling with this figure at all. I don't hate it nearly as much as Char does, but it's not very easy to talk about and like enjoy it. You know, it's not enjoyable to talk about. Is what I'm trying to say.
For
Then
me,
maybe
it's
you and Char should do a collab.
Oh, maybe.
for me, it's a very deep personal hatred. It's like someone took my favorite. It's like someone made a really shit remake of my favorite movie.
Think about it. I actually didn't want to do a collab with Char because we had just done a collab on the G2 Megatron at the time, which was only like 3 videos ago.
Kit release schedule moment.
Yeah. DN Prime asks when is the Generation Sandstorm collab of Rune and ID Armed coming? Damn, way to put him on the spot.
Hey, I've been ready, but I don't think I'll be damned if it's happening at this point, even in a toy talk in an extracurricular.
It'll happen when ID Armed finds his YouTube password again.
ID Armed has gone from being a host on this show to being a guest star.
Yeah, look at ID Armed thinking he's all high and mighty, getting his doctorate. I mean,
Getting a job.
Yeah, getting
having
a real job.
career.
Like,
you should be here on a Saturday night talking about transforming robot toys.
Yeah, like a real man.
I only own this mold as a Velocitron Scourge. I think it's just okay, but this is yet another instance where I want the vintage design.
What if we did like a tripartite collab of this fucking thing, and like we each talk about like one of the 3 repaints. Oh, well, I mean, there's more of them now, but there's 3 that any of us actually care about.
I only have the Scourge, so it would be a bit of an issue because me and Rune only have the Scourge.
Oh shit! I have the other 2.
Well, I was thinking of reserving Scourge for an extracurricular someday.
I could do that.
That works.
I can talk about that deco as well, but it doesn't really.
Real man to play with toys.
So true. I mean, I could talk about that deco. It's off topic because it's not technically an Optimus Prime, but they took everything that was unique about the Scourge deco and made it just another Nemesis Prime.
Not even a good one.
Yeah. The only thing I can commend that toy on is the pink plastic is a nice color, but that's about it.
It is a nice color, just not on Scourge.
Yeah.
Put that shit on like a G2 guy. Like get that make that freaking G2 Skyquake repaint we've all been clamoring for and put that color plastic on him. I'd buy that.
I'm guessing that in the process of discussing all these Optimus Prime toys, we've inadvertently gone over our dishonorable mentions.
I don't have any other dishonorable mentions.
Yeah. Like any dishonorable mentions I have like very good reasons to not be that good, you know?
Yeah, I could talk about like fast action battlers maybe, but like that doesn't feel fair, you know?
Yeah, it'd be like stealing a cripple guy's wheelchair or something.
It's like that one meme of like the guy with the little propeller hat and going, "I hate you and hope you die." I like being a gimmick toy. Oh no! I do have a dishonorable mention. Actually, I do. Earthrise Optimus Prime.
Really?
Not just for one, because I don't think it's a very good Optimus Prime toy to begin with. I think it's too lanky. The chest is weird. I don't really like it. 2, because it's the fucking progenitor of this toy. right?
Sins of the father.
Yes, all right. Well, more so sins of the son go to the father. I don't care, all right. If they hadn't made Earthrise Optimus Prime, they couldn't have made this toy, and they might have had to actually figure out how to make a proper G2 Laser Prime update, which would have been infinitely preferable.
I don't really like the Dark of the Moon Deluxe Optimus Prime, but it's also just kind of such a nothing figure. It's not really worth talking about.
He looks like he's wearing a tank top.
A little bit, yeah.
He's got like skinny arms.
Yeah, he does. Transformation's stupid simple.
Also, Garrett, I will acknowledge that by saying about Siege. The thing is, Earthrise established the precedent of reusing those legs. So I'm blaming Earthrise. Also, because I just don't like Earthrise, the Earthrise toy very much to begin with.
Yeah, I'm looking through my collection. I just can't find anything worth shitting my pants over.
Yeah, no, those are the only ones I have like strong opinions about.
And like the worst I can say for many other Optimuses is that they're just overrated, not that they're bad.
Yeah.
Like Runestone, I know you mentioned Battle Blades Optimus, the Voyager one, I think, as one of your honorable mentions. I have the Dark of the Moon retool repaint guy, the one with the hooks. And he's just a little miserable to fill around with, just like in spite of how impressive he is, you know?
Well,
I'm simultaneously impressed, but I also don't want to touch it.
The only problem
don't take that out of context either, please.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of clips for next episode. A lot of material.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, that was defenestrated the second this podcast came to fruition. But no, the thing about the Battle Blades Optimus Prime is that it has an annoying flaw where during the transformation, the matrix of leadership comes like loose, and it causes like the struts that connect the windows to the abs. It causes them to get stuck.
Yeah, I have that problem nearly every time I transform it. It's really infuriating. Like I keep having to like hold it upside down and shake it out. Like a I had a simile there, but oh well. Oh god, now we have peak audience right when I say something incriminating. That's just my luck.
Mm-hmm.
That's my luck. Joke's on all of you in the audience. I do this on purpose.
So I think that pretty much wraps things up with our picks. We move on to Q&A, which in contrast to last episode where we had no questions whatsoever, I think for this one we've had the most questions we've had in any episode so far.
Yeah, this is insane. Holy shit. First question, DN Prime 17. Oh, someone in the audience. What let me do a funny voice. What non-G1 Optimus design deserves more toy representation in your opinion? You're in the audience, so I have to make fun of you. I don't have anything in mind, so if someone else would like to go first.
My pick, and this is going back to the first Chug Wishlist episode we did. I'd like to see a new toy of Energon Optimus Prime.
I was going to say that as well. Fuck.
One that improves the proportions of the cab in robot mode itself. You could also either work some more articulation into the drones when they're limbs, or even have the drones transform into little robots themselves.
That would be pretty cool. I don't know how you'd engineer that, but that would be pretty cool. Also, damn you, Rune. That was going to be my pick. I'll say Transtech, just because Transtech hasn't got any toy, and it should, because Transtech deserves Trans tech deserves to exist. It should have existed.
You're gonna bring back trans tech just like that company brought back the dire wolf.
I am going to. No, it's not. It's not trans tech. It's just fucked up. It's just a.
It's just fucked up Chug.
Wasn't the High Moon Studios Optimus design at least partially inspired by that one?
Maybe. I can see it actually. Yeah, I suppose. There's elements of it.
This is a very hard question because I think every like major design of Optimus Prime has at least one really solid toy.
Yeah, there's none that I would say are like. I mean, okay, I could say Laser Prime, but Laser Prime's already got a bunch of toys. It's just they keep fucking it up.
Yeah, they even have unofficial ones. It's so prolific.
Yeah. Yeah, no, trans tech. That's my answer.
Like if you put a gun to my head, I'd be like, well, which ones haven't been done? G2 GoBot
Wait,
Optimus Prime?
I know another one. How about one of the War Within design?
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, because they only did titanium for that. Yeah, no, War Within.
That would go so hard. That's like one of my favorite Optimus designs.
I mean, if we count third party, there's been some really good War Within Primes as well.
Yeah.
Like famously good.
Our next question comes from DN Prime 17 again. Does someone else want to do a funny voice?
All right, fine. What part of Optimus Prime would you change if you had the chance?
I'd get rid of his third nipple.
It depends what we mean. If we're talking about design, there's not anything I'd change about the original Optimus Prime, really. If we're talking about like character, I would change. I would change whatever caused him to just be entirely stoic in every subsequent appearance.
Trans tech with Earthrise legs.
Ah! They would fucking do it as well. They would fucking do it.
I think it would be funny if Hasbro like went like 5 years pretending that Optimus Prime got demoted. You know, like don't bring back Rodimus or anything. It's just like Optimus got fired. And like that's the metatextual story of Transformers right now. Optimus got fired from leader of the Autobots. And now they have to listen to fucking Huffer or some shit.
God, Rodimus couldn't break the Carbot glass ceiling.
Yeah. Don't get a Carbot to do a Minibot's job. Runestone, do you have anything to add to this one? I'm not really sure.
Not really. I mean, if nothing else, just come up with a new alt mode for Optimus Prime. Like, vary things up a little instead of just having him being a truck. Like, I think Char at one point brought up the fact that the Bat Optimus Prime mold that they did for Beast Wars was originally intended to be Optimus Prime, but in that new Maximal body. So just go with something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Christ, even with Cyberworld, for all the flack that's getting due to it being yet another bloody cheap ass gimmick toy line, I will say that the idea of certain concepts like Megatron transforming into a bull, that in itself isn't bad. So why not do something similar for Prime?
Yeah. For everyone in the chat saying fire truck, we said new alternate mode. Next question comes from Seb. What is your favorite backstory for Optimus Prime?
Hey, animated Blitzwings in the call.
I kind of referred to this, but animated's the best backstory. We don't really get very many backstories for Optimus Prime. He just sort of is when he shows up.
I'm gonna say G1. I think I quite like the aspect of like G1 Optimus Prime starting out as like this nobody dock worker. And when he first meets Megatron, he's like, "Oh, hey, new friend," basically. Like it sort of plays into his development into Optimus Prime. And I think that concept kind of hasn't been done. Like every subsequent Optimus Prime has been something other than just like a basic laborer at the very beginning. At least that I can remember.
I wonder what Bayverse Optimus's backstory is.
Executioner.
He impaled little creatures for fun as a child. But okay, shall we move on to the next question?
Yeah, sure.
Next one comes from BioDragon882. What alt mode of Optimus's do you feel should be used for a hypothetical next series that isn't just G1 again? I thought this was an exercise for the class to pick a new alt mode. Oh boy.
Trying to get the lecturers to do the work again. SMH.
Yeah.
I got one. Monster Truck.
Char, that's not exactly new. We've seen the Armada concept art. You're not fooling anyone.
I was actually thinking of rescue bots. That's what I had in mind.
Oh.
Because they did like one of the toys was a monster truck, and I think, you know what? Why not? And also that Armada Optimus Prime, that version of Armada Optimus Prime, never got made, so it still counts.
I think it would be cool if we had an Optimus Prime with a flying alt mode. So I want to say rescue helicopter.
I actually think
like live convoy. Like live convoy.
I was thinking along those lines as well. But I actually think a cargo plane would be more appropriate for Optimus Prime. Like, what is that?
Oh, because then he could be the trailer.
Yeah, what is that if not the truck of the skies?
He's like a big DHL plane.
Yeah.
That's
I was
brilliant.
thinking of like a C-130 actually.
So, like, you were going for more like Spirit of G1, whereas I was going Spirit of Cybertron.
Yeah, pretty much. You were thinking fire truck in the sky. I was thinking regular truck in the sky.
Yeah. Optimus becomes the trailer and the drone becomes the cab. That's a neat idea. Runestone, are you present?
I don't really have an answer for this question. Like every new alt mode I could think of feels like it just belongs on another character instead.
What about a Dodge SRT-10?
As long as they make a better toy of it, I'd be down for that.
All right, our next question comes from Needle Nose Enthusiast. Should Optimus toys have the ability to combine with other characters, e.g., super mode or weaponizing? Yes. What kind of question is this?
I feel like who are you asking here? Because like it's me and it's Kit and it's Ruin. Like I don't think anyone. I'm
going to say no out of spite.
No, I don't think Optimus Prime should have super modes. I
don't think Optimus Prime should be the coolest motherfucker in existence. No, I don't.
I don't think he should be able to be upgraded by combining with other characters. No, I think that's a stupid idea, actually.
That would never sell. You can't play that in Peoria.
People would never buy it.
This is why I asked. Oh, how many more questions? Our final question comes from G1 Scorponok. Does Shatterglass Optimus deserve a redemption arc?
No,
The only thing he deserves is to be put down like a dog. Like, come on.
I feel like Shattered Glass Optimus being redeemed would kind of ruin it because I'll be
Imagine if it happened in like a Steven Universe-esque song and dance number.
oh
Yeah,
no.
about him getting redeemed. That in a sense happened.
Oh
What? No, say it
no.
ain't so.
Well, not in the way you necessarily think, but what happens is there is a mini comic series called Another Light, I think, which is basically the Shattered Glass take on the Transformers the movie, and basically Optimus ends up in the same position as Megatron in that comic strip, where he's ejected from, in this case, Skylinks, along with some of the other Autobots, and he encounters Unicron, but it's a heroic Unicron, and
Oh.
what happens is
He shits planets out
well.
of his betoothed sphincter.
Fuck you for those mental images.
Our planet's kicker, our planet's.
Like
Here's
I
how
was
the Earth was
saying,
made. So, have y'all read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes.
It's not a coincidence that Slarta Bartfast looks like he just has the word fart in his name a bunch. It's Unicron. It's Shatterglass Unicron.
well, the thing about that is,
I'm sorry. I'm done.
no, you're not.
I am.
No, you're fucking not.
I am. I promise. I'll be good.
Oh, fuck.
The thing about Shattered Glass Unicron. God damn it.
Should I just play the robots clip?
Is that basically he purifies that Optimus Prime's mind and reformats him into a heroic Nova Prime. Because do you remember the Nova Prime they did for the Collectors Club, which was a redeco and retool of Generations 30 Orion Pax?
Yeah, that toy actually looks really, really nice, but not as nice as their WoW Convoy version.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that's a redemption in a sense.
I suppose.
But generally speaking, Shattered Glass, as far as I'm concerned, is just meant to be, as I said, entertainingly campy, good fun. It's not necessarily a property that you go to for long, serious story arcs.
Yeah, but just taking the piss out of Transformers, as God intended.
Like I said, not that I minded IDW's comics, but yeah, that's just my thoughts on the matter.
Anyway, that's a wrap on Optimus Primes. What do y'all think? Who's your favorite Optimus Prime? Would you make a good Prime? Who can say?
If you could combine with Optimus Prime, what bit would you turn into?
Yeah, would you be a pair of convoy underpants? Or would you be a stylish woolen hat? Those are your only two options.
Oh, fuck.
Anyway, I think it's about time we wrap up the episode.
Yeah.
This has been Catastrophe.
This has been definitely Not Char.
And this has been Runestone.
So homework, you need to write a 17-page essay on Pooh Earth creationism. Hail Unicron. Class dismissed.